Live from the Roses in Oxford, this is HawkTawk. On Facebook Live from Van Wagner. And brought to you by Ohio's 529 Plan. Ohio's 529 Plan is proud to partner with Miami Athletics and be the sponsor of Swoops Kids Club. To learn more about Ohio's 529 Plan and for your chance at winning a $529 College Savings Award, visit collegeadvantage.com/Redhawks. And now, live from La Rosa's in Oxford, it's HawkTawk. Ohio's 529 Plan is proud to partner with Miami Athletics and sponsor Swoops Kids Club. To learn more about Ohio's 529 Plan and for your chance to win a $529 College Savings Award, visit collegeadvantage.com/Redhawks. La Rosa's in Oxford is a proud sponsor of Miami Athletics for nearly a decade. Ordering your favorite La Rosa's family recipes is easier than ever with their new mobile app. Download it today to get great pizza and more at La Rosa's on Lynn Street in Oxford.
And we are back live at La Rosa's. I'm sorry, apparently we had some audio difficulty there on the show, but hopefully we got that taken care of there, and appreciate it. And again, thanks to Travis for coming out and joining us. As we're here live at La Rosa's, don't forget Coach's Specials are taking place between now and 7:30 tonight here at La Rosa's. You can dine in or carry out pepperoni rondos, chicken ziti Alfredo, or mozzarella sticks. Get 10% off right now here at La Rosa's in Oxford. Time to talk Miami volleyball, joined by the head coach of the Redhawks, Carolyn Condit. How are you, Coach? Glad to see you here. I'm going to move that right up there so people can hear you. And I think we got our audio issues fixed there, so my bad on that. And let's talk about just a little bit of a recap last season. You were so young and rebuilding, I guess, last year, and still had quite a bit of success. And saw some great things, I know, from your seniors, and, again, great leadership from those people as well.
True. Sophie had one of her best years as a senior.
Yeah.
And she's going on to play another year somewhere else, getting a master's. So we're happy
really?
for her.
Oh, yeah.
She didn't
Very
have
good.
enough. Yeah. And, one of the highlights was Gabby Harper.
Yeah.
1,000 kills, 1,000 digs.
Yeah.
Those kills came at the very end of the season.
Right.
We had a freshman setter named Lydia Harper, and she happened to set her sister for that 1,000th kill. That made it very exciting.
Yeah, I had a chance to talk to Lydia and Gabby for the night in for the red and white. And, what a great sister pair for you to have on the team. And, one feeding off of the other. And I asked Lydia, did you become a setter because you had to set for Gabby as she practiced all the time? She said yes. And so,
I'm glad.
kind of helped little sis get decide where she was wanting to be.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about what's been taking place since then, because you in spring workouts, you guys have your team has been working out and getting ready for the fall.
We are very much so. We have 7 freshmen, 3 sophomores and 3 seniors, and three rising seniors that are juniors, and they're working really hard. We have a morning time block, but they're getting up and they're grinding, and they're getting to know each other. They're getting to know the game, and they're getting to develop their skills. So this is the first spring we've had to train in a long time. So I think every coach in the world is excited about it. Yeah,
absolutely. Things, knock on Formica here that are getting back to normal a little bit, and again, because this time last year, we were playing the tournament.
We were playing Bowling Green.
Yeah, we were playing volleyball last year this time, and so you do get the spring, you get that opportunity to train a little bit, and this 7 freshmen will be sophomores next year, so you won't be as young because all of those freshmen got experience pretty much, right?
They do. We have 5, 6 freshmen coming in.
I
think if whoever can play gets it. It's exciting. But, I think everyone that's in our program always has the advantage of knowing the system. And, again, tomorrow we're playing in our last tournament. We'll get to see the likes of Indiana, Western Kentucky, Purdue.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a great experience for us, probably a little over our head right now, but the faster the better. We can learn.
Right.
So if we can leave that and feel good about ourselves in a lot of different ways, it's well worth the day.
Now tell me about the system. Obviously, Lydia is the setter and has been doing an outstanding job. And, you're known as a 6'2", right? Mm-hmm. And Do you see going to a one?
Yeah, I do want to go one center offense. I do.
Yeah.
You can use more substitutions.
Right.
You only need one on the right side. Lydia's tall enough to be an attacker as a setter, and they won't know what she's going to do first. And she's really developing her game and becoming stronger. And I'll talk about James Carsey. 4 days a week we've been lifting this semester under his tutelage, and we had to get stronger. And I see a difference already.
Yeah.
So it's exciting, and I think we're rebuilding, but we're rebuilding back toward where we want to be at the top, and we're going to keep moving in that direction.
That was the one thing I noticed, when Lydia was in late in the season, is her height does give you that advantage, especially coming up through the middle or however she's going to set. Gives you the option to hit on the second attack and get a strong hit at the ball as well.
And she's practicing that weekly right now. It's very exciting. So it's good, and we're bringing some reinforcements in next year. We have up to 3 middles coming in.
Right.
So we're going to add a little depth. And I went on the portal for the first time and found a fine middle. Good girl, great chemistry for the team. She's very calm and had a lot of experience in the 5th year, taking advantage of that COVID year.
Yeah. I think we'll be talking to all of our coaches about the portal a little bit. Tell me how, obviously, it affects you. Sophie's going out and playing another year someplace. Tell me how you see that affecting the game of volleyball, if at all.
I think it'll affect it a whole lot. I think it can be a great thing. Gives a lot of young people who maybe really have a complaint against a coach or they're being abused to find a way out without a lot of hardship. I think it invites coaches that want to cheat, and they can set it up and act like they're, I see that kid's on the portal. Well, they just talked to him and going on that portal. So I think it's a good and a bad thing, and like everything else. And I think it's interesting. I think the NCAA might have to find a way to control it.
We had a chance to talk a couple of weeks ago before the night in for the Red and White. Jenny Gilbert is here in the audience tonight. Both of you sat down and talked about Title IX and what it has meant to the athletes that have been able to benefit from Title IX and the equity that it brings. You started playing, or you were playing when Title IX was brought in, and have coached all the way through most of it. You've seen just about everything, and it has been such a drastic, I don't want to say a drastic change, it's been 50 years for crying out loud.
I say drastic.
But there's still so much more to do.
Yeah, there's more to do for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's so much better, though, from my standpoint.
Oh, yeah.
And I think a lot of the young women that play today are very happy with what they have, and for the most part, it's great. But there's always room to improve. Well,
certainly the athletes have the opportunities now that they didn't with scholarships and and everything else being equal, the NIL and cost of attendance and the travel you talked about, food you talked about, that sort of thing. The one thing that I think, and I think it's a big difference. I mean, somebody like you, somebody like Jenny, they have role models now. The athletes, when they come in, whether it is the administrator, whether it's the coach, whether it's a professional athlete, they have role models that have been there and done that and are leading the way.
Yeah, it was evident to me at the Columbus hosted the Final Four for volleyball this year, and it was a packed house, and it was amazing how many high school teams and girls were there. They couldn't wait to see it. It's wonderful when it's in this area. Any area it goes to, they're going to have a lot of those young kids there, and they have their role models, the names on the teams I remember, and things like that. So it's important. It's great. And you can see, women's basketball on TV a lot now. Volleyball is on TV again, not as frequently, but it's getting there. And
right.
It's fantastic.
We're looking forward to next season, obviously, and again, a very young team with 5 freshmen coming in, 7 sophomores. Tell me a little bit about what you're looking at schedule-wise. I know nothing's been announced, but what are you looking at in terms of getting ready for the Mid-American Conference as well?
Sure. We're going to play UC and Xavier again. Yeah. Xavier will come here, and we'll go to UC. We have kind of a deal on a weekend before conference starts. We're going to go down to UT Chattanooga. We're going to go to Bradley. We're not upgrading the opponent strength too much. We want to get in and get a little confidence and then go.
Right.
Xavier will be very good in UC by the time we get to that weekend. And we're hosting our own tournament again, and it should be a good one because we have Marshall coming, and as well as Middle Tennessee State. He's really building his program up with some international players.
Yeah.
And Beltman from Kentucky's coming, so that'll be great to host one and go after it.
Very, very good. Yeah. Well, we are looking forward to it. You have, as you said, your final spring tournament this weekend?
This Saturday, yeah.
And so you're going to be hitting the road here in just a little bit to head to that tournament. We appreciate you coming by. What is after that? Do you time off for the summer a little bit and then they come back?
They take exams. I don't.
Yes.
It's a lot of fun. And a little break for everyone, and then they'll report back in July, usually on their own, and work with James and with each other. And then we start up again in August. So we'll do a little recruiting in between now and then.
It'll be here before we know it.
Before we know it, it'll be fun.
Coach, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. Okay. Carolyn Condit, this segment brought to you by Ohio's 529 plan. Check them out at collegeadvantage.com/Redhawks. Talking women's basketball when we return in one moment as Dionna Hendricks will join us live from La Rose's. This is Hawk Talk on the Miami Sports Network, presented by Kimba Credit Union.
Hey, Redhawk fans, Miami Athletics and Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield are proud to partner on the Miami University Athletics would like to thank our healthcare and frontline heroes, especially Mercy Health, the official healthcare partner of Miami Athletics. Mercy Health, healthcare for the universe of you. Ohio's 529 plan is proud to partner with Miami Athletics and sponsor Swoops Kids Club. To learn more about Ohio's 529 plan and for your chance to win a $529 college savings award, visit collegeadvantage.com/Redhawks.
And we are back live at La Rose's. Happy to have you with us here on this Thursday night, our final show of this school year, as we are talking with all of our head coaches and appreciate them stopping by, talking women's basketball right now. Dionna Hendricks, the head coach of the Miami Redhawks, joins us here tonight. How are you, Coach?
I'm doing well. Thanks, Mike.
Good. It's been a little while since you and I have had a chance to sit down and chat. The end of the season, I tell you what, I'm going to ask you in a moment for some good news, because there has to be some good news. The end of the season, you're playing at Akron, I think it was, and come up with a loss, and you lose Peyton Scott to a knee injury. I saw her in Millette last week, as a matter of fact, and again, just totally positive, just, on the crutches, on the knee brace, and just totally positive. I'll be ready to go. Not the way you wanted to end the season, but it gives you the entire summer and fall to kind of rehab a little bit and get ready.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all went through our grieving period by now, so I think we've all turned the page. If you ask Peyton, she'll be back in 5 months.
Yes.
It's Peyton Scott.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, she's doing what she needs to do right now, and she's already transitioned to the coaching side of things, so it gives her a different perspective. And I'll be honest with you, babe, she's wearing me out. She wore me out before, but she's wearing me out. We're watching games every hour and asking for more film and everything else, so it'll be good for her.
Yeah, and that's the advantage you have with Peyton Scott. And you and I have talked about it several times, is she has been a coach on the floor for you anyway. Now you get the advantage of actually having her next to you on the bench. I don't know if that's going to be an advantage or not, but
she's wearing me out, babe.
She is going to be there and helping out, and that's got to be a positive for the players, especially with going through the summer and getting ready for the season. Obviously, if workouts probably not happening or even limited, if that, but she can certainly help out in talking with the players and getting them ready.
Yeah, no, it's been good. I'll be honest with you. I think she's been the voice, for those young kids. I think there's times where we strategically put her rehab during our practice block because somebody else needs to step up.
Right.
So Ivy Wolf has stepped up.
Right.
Aiden Battle stepped up. Even Amani Freeman, you have to become a leader at some point. Step up. And so there's times where it's a gift and a curse that she's hurt, but at the same time, it gives some other kids some opportunity. And Peyton's never been hurt, and so she has to focus on what she needs to focus on to get herself better right now.
Let's talk about the other members of this team, because you were so young last year. I mean, so many new players, and there was about 3/4 of the way of the season you can see Ivy struggle a little bit. And then she caught fire again, and I don't know what you said to her or anything else, and not only did she catch fire scoring, but you could physically see the leadership skills starting to really develop in her.
Yeah, it was a tough stretch, Blake. I mean, how many times did I get up here and say 6 games in 11 days? That's hard.
Yeah, it's hard,
And if you look at Ivy, she hit a rut. Maddie Kloos hit a rut. Those freshmen, it was tough. But at some point, they found their own rhythm, and at the end of the day, those kids want to win. And so I think it was just a lot of conversation of stay focused. Let's get better. How do we progress? Where do we need your voice? And Ivy was one to just take that upon herself and get better.
Yeah, indeed. You talk about Maddie Cluse, you talk about the other ones. Let's talk about going into the fall. What are you doing going out and recruiting, and what you're looking at going into the fall?
Yeah, so Coach Swafford tells me all the time, I don't know how we have space to do all the recruiting that we're doing, because we look at it for next year, our depth chart, we don't graduate anybody on paper.
Right, yeah.
Now during the time of the transfer portal, you never know, so you have to continue to recruit. But we're in a good spot right now. We just got a kid from Minnesota. She's coming from Bradley University, which we're really excited about. We'll have a couple more kids on campus next week, but overall, we don't need too much right now.
Right. And how do you view the portal? I mean, for women's basketball, for your program and the team, that's obviously changed. As I said, the NCAA in general. How do you view that?
It's tough. I'll say there was a warm up with the pandemic because we couldn't really get to know the kids like we normally would anyway. So there was that warm up. Now the transfer portal, I think Coach still talked about it. It happened so fast. Whereas as staff, we try to recruit kids that we had recruited previously.
Right.
At least we know somewhat of who they are. But it's tough. I mean, everyone's doing it, so I think the stigma around transfers have changed. At the end of the day, you want experienced kids, especially ones that have had some success at their first stop or second stop. And I'm okay with that. It's just you have to mix it up. You still got to get some high school kids.
Right.
There's still that building process, and everybody has their opinions on it. I could probably talk all day about that.
Yeah, I was going to say, the transfer portal has been a topic of discussion with everybody. Anybody that stops in the office, what do you think?
Yeah. Well, thankfully, we haven't had anybody jump in. So knock on, what'd you say? Knock on.
Formica or whatever this is.
Formica. Yeah, it's crazy after a year that we had. I think that was our first fear because we had so many first-year kids with really good numbers. Yeah. And they decided to stay, so we're lucky.
That's great. So take me through the next 30 to 60 days. What's going on with the team? What are you guys working on?
Yeah, a couple weeks. Next couple weeks, we're strength and conditioning.
Right.
Even from a development standpoint, we have young kids that didn't get that throughout the year. We went a month and a half without lifting.
Right.
So just getting back to the fundamentals of functional movement, strength building, and then on the court, just teaching. Breaking down a ton of stuff. Our kids want to compete, so everything's within competition. But we'll do that up until first week of May. Try to either recruit, acclimate a new assistant, so we're doing some staff stuff in between there. Our kids are going to go home for about a month, and a lot of them have asked to come back in June.
Yeah.
So usually we wouldn't bring them back until the end of June, but the large majority of them are going to stay on campus. So
that's great. That's great. Yeah, indeed. Now, you said the magic words. I was going to ask you, you and Haley basically went through the entire season, and Tiff went through the entire season with one less coach last year. So you're looking to hire that position now.
Yeah, sooner than later. I think it would have been fine. In non-conference, it didn't feel tough.
Right.
But once you got into schedule rescheduling and all of them had COVID, I think Jan and I somehow missed it. But Tiff goes down for 2 weeks, Connor goes down for 2 weeks, and then Lex ended up having it for 2 weeks. So that was tough. But more hands will be better.
Yeah,
for sure.
Absolutely. What are you looking at schedule-wise for next year?
Yeah, so we return a couple of our games from last year. I like regional talent here. There's enough here. All the teams that we played in our non-conference ended up finishing in the top half of their league, so we'll return some of those games. Outside of that, we'll go outside of region, try to get somewhere warm. We're still working on a warm trip with some good competition.
Let me know about that. I may go on that trip, and I may jump on that and send Tim back somewhere else. So.
Yeah, no doubt. So, yeah, we're going to do that, and then I just play the best we can, just to prepare for the MAC. I think you can talk about the MAC. Even in our non-conference, I thought we were rolling pretty good last year. And Peyton was the one telling our young kids, it's not good enough for the MAC. You have to be better for the MAC. Well, I don't think we understood that until we saw the MAC. So now we're even studying the MAC currently with our players just to get them more familiar with it, and that non-conference will really help.
Well, hopefully we won't run into any more COVID problems next year, and we won't have to play 6 games in like 11 days. But you talked about getting into the weight room and getting strong without lifting for, a month and a half. It is tough enough when you are lifting to play a regular D1 schedule.
Yeah, and I think people are tired of hearing me talk about it at this point. It's impossible to do anything, especially with the young team. We couldn't lift. Those kids weren't in shape yet.
Right.
We had to play our young kids high minutes. My worst nightmare actually came to fruition with Peyton because I was fearing somebody getting hurt. So I don't know. I wish it were different, but I'm hoping going into next year we can get some consistency, some rhythm, and take care of ourselves a little bit better.
Well, we appreciate you taking some time to talk with us here. Enjoy the next couple of weeks, and enjoy hopefully a bit of a break during the summer, and we will see you in the fall.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Dionna Hendricks joining us here in this segment, brought to you by La Rosa's here in Oxford. Joel and the staff helping us out here on this Thursday night like they have done all throughout the season. Make sure that you dine in often here at La Rosa's on Lynn Avenue. And tonight, between now and 7:30, you have, about another 50 minutes to take advantage of our coaches' specials, and that is pepperoni rondos, mozzarella sticks, or chicken ziti Alfredo. Any one of those you can take advantage of and get 10% off right now here at La Rosa's until 7:30 tonight. Again, that is dine in or carry out here at La Rosa's in Oxford. And we're coming back. We'll have some more Hawk Talk for you live from La Rosa's as we continue here on our final show of this 22 season, and coming back with more in a moment here on the Miami Sports Network, presented by the Kimba Credit Union.
Indian Ridge Golf Club, located just south of Miami University on Route 27, offers a championship layout experience with its meticulous fairways and greens and strategically placed bunkers and water hazards. Beginners to experienced players will want to call Indian Ridge Golf Club their home course. Be sure to visit us at IndianRidgeGolfClub.com to book your tee times, purchase a membership or gift certificate, or join our birthday club. La Rosa's in Oxford is a proud sponsor of Miami Athletics for nearly a decade. Ordering your favorite La Rosa's family recipes is easier than ever with their new mobile app. Download it today to get great pizza and more at La Rosa's on Lynn Street in Oxford.
And welcome back. We are live at La Rosa's in Oxford on this Thursday night. This segment is brought to you by Delta Dental, a proud partner of the Miami Redhawks. Steve Baker here, the voice of the Redhawks, joined by the Director of Athletics for Miami University, David Saylor, joins us. And David, thanks for taking some time. I appreciate it, sir.
No, I'm happy to be a role player for you, Baker.
Hey, you're a role player. You have been a busy, busy man, as always, over the last couple of weeks. Had obviously the pleasure of talking with Travis here a little while ago, and the new men's basketball coach, great hire, great individual. Take us through that process, first of all, I guess, and tell us what made Travis Steele appealing for Miami University.
You know, these decisions are so difficult, and Jude was right there with me the whole time, but I'm just always, I guess, in retrospect, taken aback by how quickly you go through talking about making a change with somebody and affecting their family and families of a bunch of their staff. And literally within 20 minutes, I'm getting calls from agents about people wanting the job.
Wow.
And so your mind is just in this weird place where it's so emotional and it's difficult. I always tell people, if anyone enjoys making staff changes, they have screw looses because it is such a difficult decision and process. And then you've got to pivot, so quickly into talking to agents and candidates and people and HR and legal and people on campus, right? Getting ready to do the search itself. And so it was a whirlwind period. And then Travis quickly emerged as somebody that I was definitely interested in, and I felt someone with head coach experience was going to be really important with where our program is right now and dealing with transfer portal and image likeness. Somebody that's already kind of done those things and had their toes in the water on that,
right, I
thought was really important for us to hit the ground running. And so we kind of focused in on that and had some great candidates and a lot of interest. And we landed on Travis, and I think his skill set is exactly what we need at the right time, and so I'm super excited to have him on board.
Yeah, absolutely. And you touched on, and I think sometimes the fans get wrapped up in, you got to name a coach, you got to name a coach, you got to name a coach. You don't realize all of the things that you have to do to go through. There's a timing, you haven't even posted it yet. How can I hire somebody if I haven't posted it yet?
Right.
I mean, all of these things that you have to do within the college realm, Miami University, or even the person you're going to hire. All these things you have to do and get all the ducks in a row before you can ever think about saying who your coach is.
Yeah, even in this business, even if it's not as an AD, before my career is over, I'm going to work for a private school for like 6 months because I just want to see how easy it is at a private school to do these things, because it's so different at a public institution. And you talk to other counterparts across the country, and they'll tell you different stories about their situations at private schools. But Miami staff was fantastic to work with. They always are, in moving things through and helping us guide through the process. But you're right, there is a process, and it does take the time. But frankly, the time wasn't a problem because you're so busy fielding calls anyway. You can still do the things you need to do to keep doing your research and your background, even while those processes are kind of taking their time. And so I don't ever feel too rushed. But boy, in our industry right now, I don't know any time. It's always a bit of a I don't want to say guess, but it's always a bit of a projection about an assistant taking over when they move over in that chair.
Right.
But now it's even more hard to predict because of some of these outside factors in the industry right now.
Right.
So that's really why we were focused on really looking at head coaching
experience. Yeah, absolutely. And while we're talking about that, obviously you talk to the NCAA, the ADs, meetings, that sort of stuff. Let's talk about the portal and NIL and how it has affected, because it is. You talk to one person and a fan, it says, it's ruining the NCAA, and the other one says it's great. Tell me your thoughts on the whole thing, because it right now, 1,800 basketball players in a portal seems like an awful lot.
I will tell you that ADs across the country that I see at conventions, they're all glad they're retiring. and a lot of them say good luck to you guys, the younger generation. And I say, you guys realize I'm 52 years old, right?
Right.
I'm not exactly a spring chicken, but I truly believe it's going to balance out here. I think it is a mess, and I'm not happy with where we are as an industry. I do think it's going to balance itself out, but it's going to take a couple years when maybe some of these young people and their families and their handlers and their agents realize that the grass isn't always greener, and maybe they should stick out where they're at, and somebody that's invested time in them and cares about them. I mean, I get a kick out of some of these stories where the young people say, well, I'm going to grad transfer and go somewhere. When I was recruited, no one wanted to take a chance on me. And our coach here at Miami is saying, we took the chance on you. We developed you into this, and now you're going to go over here. And so it's just, I'm always struck by those conversations. And I think that transfer portal, when kids realize there isn't a chair at the end,
right,
maybe that'll slow itself down. And I think the image likeness stuff has clearly been abused. By lots of institutions, and I think that at some point there'll be Congress will give us some latitude to go in there and fix that.
Well, tell me if I'm wrong, because I was talking to somebody about it earlier this week, and it just gives the schools that have always had the big booster with the bag of money a legal way to do it.
Yeah, no, there's some part of that now with the collectives and the things that people call them, but the intent when it started was that if the young people had a skill that they could benefit and market themselves, they could earn money from that. There was never supposed to be inducements for kids to go to a certain school or go to school X, or be used to encourage them to transfer to school Y.
Right.
But that clearly has been happening.
Yeah.
And that's what's gotten a lot of the ADs concerned that, and I keep saying, why did any of you think we were going to be able to self-police this?
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't self-policed ourselves ever properly in terms of how we run this industry, and that's been one of my biggest frustrations about it. So I do think there'll be some reform to it because it has gone more the way you talked about. All the ADs use the word guardrails. They were supportive of image likeness, but wanted guardrails around it, and unfortunately those guardrails don't exist and
didn't
they're not
hold
there.
up. You touched on it a couple of questions ago. The parents, the handlers, the people involved with them, and more than anything, I think the portal and the NIL and everything else gives those people more voice than they probably should ever have.
It is,
because they're really in the kid's ear, and the kid doesn't need to hear that all the time.
I'm going to use this story. I mean, my son is playing travel hockey, and he's tried out for a AAA hockey team, and one of the kids that he's in the mix with for this AAA team, the same age as my son, 15, they have a handler already. They have an advisor already.
Wow.
Guiding their family in this decision about playing AAA hockey. And I'm like, I just want my son to play AAA and then maybe play high school. Like, I don't know about advisors in this. He's 15 years old. Where are we?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's pretty shocking just going through it as a parent.
Yeah.
And then our coaches, they all have to deal with it. It's, part of it is I don't know how I'm always envious of our coaches at working with these folks that say all these things and then don't hold to their promise, or they're real drifty in how they go. So I don't know how they do it anyway, but then you throw that layer in with the advisor, and boy, that would drive me nuts.
It is just one of those things that and I mean it's been going on for years. I mean, obviously kids transfer and they have their parents and somebody else in their ear, but with the portal, you can see it happening everywhere, and especially I don't even think about the AAA or the other levels, even back to kids, but it is just one of those things that is just kind of amazing to me in sports. It has just gotten kind of worse as we've gone along here. It's not like you don't have enough to do and enough to think about with just those two topics, but what are some of the other things that you're looking at right now that that you have to work for and get done for Miami and for the Mid-American Conference and the NCAA?
We did a mini retreat just today with the President's Cabinet, and one of the things that I raised that is a big concern of mine is just trying to pivot. You want to have empathy and you want to work with these young people through difficult times, which the pandemic has been, and a lot of the social justice causes have been. But they also still need to be coached. Right. And the young people still need to be taught lesson and worked, and not just always like whatever you want. And I think back to the handshake line, right? Like Michigan and Wisconsin, the coach hit the other coach, and then what's the response to that? Well, we should have stopped the handshake line. And I'm like, no, we should just address the fact that the coach made a stupid decision and punish the coach. It's not. The kids need to learn that they need to shake each other's hand, and they're going to go through tough times, and they shouldn't just go into the portal.
It's not fun to lose.
So how do we listen to our student athletes and sympathize with them, but also coach them and manage them? I think for our coaches and our staff, that's one huge issue we're going to have to wrestle with the mental health aspect of everything.
Right.
And then the other is just the younger generation. I really want to help lead our staff and grow as professionals. And I'm just shocked and amazed at some of the things I hear in the media about younger generation wanting things so fast in terms of money and less hours, and they're not going to work somewhere if they don't really believe in the values of the organization. And you think back to the stories of all of us have how we got into this business and the jobs we took to start and kind of move our way up, and it just seems when I go talk to classes of young people today, they don't want to put that time in anymore.
Right.
They want it all like right away, and they expect it.
Yeah.
And so I'm worried about where we're going as an industry and frankly as a country in terms of work ethic and willingness to put the time in. And then I worry about young people really learning the life lessons that they need to advance themselves in their sport.
It is sometimes, and you look at it from all levels, sometimes it just gets to the point where there aren't any lessons that you can learn from sport. Like, it used to be, because everybody's a winner, everybody gets that trophy, everybody gets what they want, and we're losing some of that, I think, in the sport.
And I think some of that mentality is what's led to the problems that I'm seeing even in hiring young staff now.
Right.
Which is that they don't want to take the job for X, and they don't want to work these hours. They'd rather go set their own schedule and be a pharmaceutical salesperson, but is that really what you want for your life? Like, if you want to be in athletics, then be in athletics. And let's go. Let's get started. But because they've been kind of told you deserve to be happy all this time, that's all that they want to hear. And so I do have a lot of concerns about it, and I do think it's a product a little bit of how they're being raised today with what people now call the snowplow parents, right? They're just blocking, clearing the path for their young people.
It's not hovering over them in a helicopter anymore. It's just clearing the way for them now.
That's right.
Let's talk about Miami University and some of the things that are going on there. Obviously, we just had the night in for the red and white, $106,000 raised in the auction this year. And raising money is such a key thing. the Miami Athletic Fund for the scholarships. I mean, quite honestly, folks, it doesn't happen without scholarships. Nothing happens without scholarships. Plus other projects. Every school, every team has their excellence funds and that sort of thing. But what are you looking at on the big map of things to try and accomplish here in the near future?
Well, there's no question. You're right. The scholarship support is really the engine to what we do. Our scholarship bill is large at Miami because tuition is expensive, and
yes.
we don't get a break on that. So we got to cover that scholarship bill, and so getting the funds for that through the red and white auction and through just the annual support we get is fantastic. And then getting some endowments is really helpful. We've done that with a couple coaching positions, but getting more endowments so that there's money kind of in the coffer, so to speak, every year from infinite years forward to help us cover salaries of our staff, and scholarships of that nature as well can be endowed.
Right.
And so those endowments are critical. And then always trying to work on some facility improvements for the coaches. They all have kind of a list that they keep, and I think Jude is kind of overseeing those lists, and we try to knock some things off the best we can and move forward. And obviously, I've said it many, many times, but the number one project I feel like it's been overlooked the longest and needs the most attention is something to do with Millett Hall.
Yeah, and looking forward to someday that happening here, and wish you the best of luck there. Football spring game is coming up, or spring showcase is coming up a week from Saturday. Spring showcase is the 23rd at 1 o'clock in the Disc. Obviously coming off of a successful season, a bowl win at the Frisco Football Challenge, and looking forward to great things coming up in football. And I know I see you down at the Disc, could practice every now and then, and looking forward to the fall, Paul Brown Stadium. Talk a little bit about that game against Cincinnati. Obviously finished number 4 in the country, or 5, and that's going to be a huge game, and it needs to be a huge game for our fans down there as well.
Yeah, it's actually this year it happens to also fall on the Cincinnati weekend, which is kind of the Oktoberfest of Cincinnati. So the downtown area is going to be hopping pretty good, and we played them down there many years ago when it was that same occurrence, same weekend, and it was the best crowd that they've had for that game. And so I expect another one. Yeah. And so I think our fans will have a great time and certainly participate. And that game is a home game for us technically, and just so it's clear to everybody, we do split all the revenue 50-50, and that includes all the tickets they sell too. So it's certainly a chance for us to really show up and bring our whole campus, the band, and I know admissions is going to do a bunch of stuff in the Cincinnati area around the game on Friday, and just kind of take over Cincinnati and have a great weekend and a great football game.
Should be a lot of fun coming up, and also looking forward to a great season with Chuck's team as well. We're going to talk with Chris Bergeron here in a second. The hockey schedule release, season tickets are out there and available, and looks like a pretty good schedule for his team.
Yeah, nice to see Michigan State on there and get a Big Ten team back into the rink, so that's good. And he had a lot of the return games from last year, so that certainly made the home schedule even more attractive coming up this year, so I'm excited about that.
Yeah, it should be a great season ahead. We'll talk with Chris in just a moment here. Appreciate you, sir, in all that you do, and your support throughout the entire department. Pleasure to work for you. I will always say that. Wish you best, hopefully get a relaxing summer. No real COVID issues that you have to worry about.
Both my boys are playing travel baseball.
Well, that should be fun.
That's
though.
my summer.
That's the fun part of the job,
yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
David Saylor joining us, Director of Athletics. Thank you so much, sir.
Thanks,
appreciate it.
I appreciate you.
This segment brought to you by Delta Dental, a proud partner of the Miami Athletic Department. We will come back and talk hockey with Chris Bergeron when we return live from La Rosa's. This is Hawk Talk on the Miami Sports Network, presented by the Kimba Credit Union. Love getting prices that are lower than low on food that's fresher than fresh? With the Kroger app, you can get personalized coupons on top of weekly sales and rewards like fuel points, all for prices that are lower than the everyday low. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Hey, Redhawk fans, Miami is proud to partner with Rumpke Waste and Recycling to keep our campus clean and green. When you come out to Miami games, make sure you recycle your bottles and cans, and make sure you are recycling everything you can at home. Visit rumpke.com. And we are back live at La Rosa's. Happy to have you with us. This segment brought to you by Crown Charter, official transportation partner of the Miami Redhawks. Steve Baker here, and I'm going to talk with Chris Bergeron here in just a second. Give me a chance to move things around here just a little bit before I do. as we'll move our graphic to the middle there so it's not covering up your or my face. How you doing, Chris?
I'm okay. How are you?
Doing very well, as
Good.
a matter of fact.
Good.
Is I had a couple of weeks to kind of decompress from the season and kind of put it behind you. I mean, obviously, it wasn't a successful season that you wanted, but I can point to the second half of the season, especially that second half of the second half, and say this team really, from a fan's perspective, looked like they were getting it. Looked like they were starting to, I know what Coach wants. I know what I can do to get there, and we're going to get there.
Yeah, and the last couple of weeks, Bake, has been wrapping it up with the boys and wrapping it up with the staff and kind of, closing the book on 21-22. And I think what you're saying is real, but also what you're saying, the results weren't very good. So my point is, I'd like to balance that. We don't do moral victories.
Right.
We don't. We look at process, and the process was better. It was much better. Unfortunately, we picked a tough year to play the national champions 6 times.
6 times,
that was
exactly.
Nice. That was
really?
Nice of everybody to give us that as a nice Christmas gift or whatever it was. So the matchup, because that was the worst weekend. Even the weekend at Western, the last weekend of the year, we had the lead after the second period, going to the third period against a really good team at home. Just the Denver matchup for us, Bake, was just a difficult matchup. It just was one of those ones. Obviously, they became a difficult matchup for what seemed to be everybody. So we've reflected. I have talked to some outgoing people to kind of get their take. To take that positive, negative, real, and put it into the conversation, which I really enjoy doing. Even if it is difficult, even if it is, hey, you've got to do this less and this more, or whatever. That's the point. So I feel like we're in a good place now. What we need to do as a program is we need to use the momentum that we did create in the second half of the second half, from our process, and take that to the weight room, take that to the track, take that to our off ice, and then the leadership group, the conversation with them going into the summer and so on is, you have to wrap your arms around this opportunity as from the momentum standpoint. And there's going to be 8 to 10 new faces next year, probably all 4-year guys, just looking for the way. We do think the way and the lead and the example is going to be good. I think that the culture that we're trying to create is as stable as it's probably been going into next season. Again, everybody's culture is good in summer when no one's pushing back other than the weights. So you really don't know until adversity hits, and that's when at times this year we got exposed, and at other times we showed, hey, we can get through adversity together. So lots to talk about. Always the off season is that, and it's no different for us right now.
8 to 10 guys coming in next year, you said?
Yeah, as we are right now.
All 4-year guys?
Yeah, that's where we stand.
Been talking with all the coaches about the portal.
Yeah.
4-year guys coming in. Is it, in your mind, it's always a crapshoot whether they're going to be around 4 years or not. It's always been that way.
Yeah.
But do you think twice about a 4-year guy now, thinking, okay, well, is he really going to be here 4 years?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
No, I've got too much old school in me, Bake, and I still believe in people, and I still believe in kids and families, and I understand what everyone's saying, because I do agree with that too.
Yeah.
The re-recruiting of my current players is going to be difficult for me. I'm just telling you, I'm wrapping my arms around that.
Yeah, exactly.
Re-recruiting people that I recruited 2 years earlier or a year earlier is something that I'm going to have to take off my old school hat and just try to be a cooler version of Berge and just do it because that's what it calls for.
Right.
I still am going to say, if this isn't where you want to be, there's the door. Because we need more than that. We need a commitment to it.
We need you here.
We need you here. We need you all in. That all in term around Miami hockey has been a key phrase for us. And when you talk about drawing the line, Bake, this 1 foot on either side of the line is no good, man. It's no good. This is what we do. This is how we do it. You want to ask why? Come and ask why. And then jump in with both feet. Or, as I said, you do have the transfer portal. I think it was just circumstance. I'm not saying we didn't look in the portal. Last year we spent some time there, and as those people leave our program, I'm thinking, man, I wish those are 4-year guys, so we have them for 3 more years.
3 more years, exactly, right?
And unfortunately, they're walking away. So it's a new world for all of us. I'm trying to figure it out and do the best I can. I'm trying to get out of my own way and not be too old school to wrap my arms around it. And I think we're doing that. Eric, Barry, myself, we're all figuring this out together. And I think next year's class just turned out that it looks like it's going to be a bunch of 4-year guys.
Bunch of 4-year guys. Okay. Schedule came out yesterday afternoon, and you open up October 1st and 2nd. Ferris State, former CCHA team, and it's a Saturday-Sunday series because the first day you can play is October 1st,
right.
So you open up on a Saturday. But as David said, you got Michigan State, another former CCHA team coming to town, and I know a lot of people are looking forward to that series. Kind of break down the schedule for me, especially non-conference games that you were looking at.
The non-conference, as you said, we start with Ferris. What it looks like, Bake, as things stand right now, moving forward, we're going to play Ferris State every year. 1 year it'll be there,
great.
1 year it'll be here. I mean, it's a 6-hour drive. It's something for us that they want to do it. We don't have no problem using the opening weekend to do that because it's difficult to find non-conference dates, especially with the travel in hockey. Then we've got at Lowell, which was a series that I was handed when I got the job. We owed them 2 games there, so we'll go there. And then the Canisius one is going to be home and home with them. We're going to start in Buffalo this year. We'll go back to Canisius next year. And then we've got, as you said, Michigan State at home, which is the back end of the home and home from this year. And then we play Niagara at home over New Year's. And then we'll go to Niagara next year. So it's, we've talked to the Arizona States. We've talked to the Wisconsins. Unfortunately, some of the people in our own state don't seem to want to call back anymore. I don't know what happened there. We've got 2 teams in our state that we can't get on our schedule, and there's only 3 hockey teams in the state. So we'll do the best we can to use that Crown Charter deal that we have and take a bus and whatever.
Take a bus, whatever you can.
Yeah. And then the in-conference, we obviously know what that's all about. That's 24 games of 24 brutal games.
Brutal.
So no, that's all good. I do think that the league really benefited from that 5th year.
Yeah.
You look at some of the teams in our league, the
Duluth,
the Western, that had the 5th year. North Dakota. Denver is the one team that really just did it with their people.
Yeah.
They had, a bunch of young guys, a bunch of good older guys, but really outside of one player that Barry and I actually coached at Bowling Green who went there as a 5th year. It was pretty much, their team. So, we'll see what happens with the league. I do think that there's teams in the league that are active in the portal and bringing in people, and I do think there's a couple of teams that have lost some players to the portal. So we'll see how the league goes, but our intentions are to be much more relevant and much more competitive within the league play.
Denver and North Dakota. And by the way, NCHC, let's talk about that real quickly. 4 teams in the top 11 with the championship again. That's a regular thing for this conference.
Yeah, it seems to be. I mean, there's 16 teams in our national tournament for people that don't know, and 6 of those teams are from this league. I mean, there was 3 number 1 seeds. It's a handful. There's no doubt about that. And I think the last couple of years with the extra COVID year and now the portal, I think there's a couple of teams that have really benefited from that to make the league even more difficult. But what we have proven, Bake, is when we're right, our process is right, and we're ready to dig in and fight for it, we can compete with anybody. Now, it hasn't come to the results, but we've talked about the lead or tied going to the 3rd period, and to me, that all comes, yes, we need to improve our talent. There's no doubt about that, and we think we will. But we need the culture piece, the belief piece, the piece that's hard to put your thumb on, and it's hard to teach people to believe. You have to earn that, man. And we think we're getting closer to earning it.
Yeah. A couple of other notes on the schedule. By the way, nice job with the Buffalo schools. You're going to Buffalo in October, and Niagara's coming here on New Year's Eve. That's a great job with the Buffalo schools
I don't get very many nice jobs on the schedule, but I appreciate that.
I'm telling you, you don't want to go to Buffalo on New Year's Eve. It's just not something you want to do. Good news is you don't play Minnesota Duluth here this year.
Oh, we don't?
No.
Excellent.
You don't. There's one less series you don't have to play Duluth.
Okay, perfect.
But the bad news is you open up conference play October 28th and 29th against the Pios.
Yeah, and
national champions.
And it's going to be our parents' weekend, probably. Let's go, man. Let's see where the bar's at going into next year, and let's dig in and roll up the sleeves and engage in a fist fight. Let's see how we do. Again, if you're looking at the NCHC schedule and looking for an off weekend, literally, if it's not an off weekend, literally, then there's no off weekend.
Yeah, I absolutely understand that. Tim Carey, the administrator of the athletic communications person for Miami Hockey, came up with a note. He said he talked to you about this. Ludwig Pearson may be, depending upon what the Denver goalie does, the only returning starting goalie in the NCHC next year.
Yeah, but the other thing I got to start with, the other thing I hear Tim Carey is the latest townie in Oxford. Now he's a townie. I hear he's moving to town. So congratulations, Tim, being in the area. You got to be here a couple of years before you can be called a townie. So but you're going to be on your way. Yeah, he threw that at me a little bit ago, and that tells you. I mean, that's transfer portal. That's some turnover.
Yeah.
I mean, the kid at Western signed early. The guy at North Dakota was a fifth-year transfer that came in. Duluth's guy was all world, and he signed. There's going to be some turnover in goal. The Omaha guy signed. The other guy went in the portal. Went
to St. Cloud.
Who did? The Omaha guy?
The Colorado College.
Oh, yeah. Well, the Omaha guy went to Providence. Colorado College guy went to St. Cloud. Yeah, it's you gotta wait till the summer's over and see where the dust settles.
All the chips land here.
No, but Ludwig is arguably our best player. We did not give him as much help this year as we believe we're going to in the next couple. Right. His numbers, his play is he deserves better than the numbers. But we're excited to have him back for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Season tickets are available right now. You can go to the Miami Athletic Ticket Office in Millette Hall or go to MiamiRedhawks.com. Click the ticket link and order your season tickets. There are two separate links. If you go to the the schedule release story on MiamiRedhawks.com. There's two separate links there. One for season ticket holders, current season ticket holders, and one if you would like to buy new season tickets when available. Make sure you click on the appropriate link and get your season tickets. So right now, guys, just kind of get ready for finals and then coming back in the summer, right?
Yep, we've had a couple weeks of kind of our spring training, if you will, which mostly in the weight room and on some type of conditioning day. There's open ice for them if they want it. They'll have this weekend to spend some time with friends and family with the Easter holiday and so on, and then we'll finish up with the next couple of weeks before exams. The summer for us, Bake, we've taken a supportive role versus a mandate role.
Right.
We look at J-term as far as a time to get ahead in school, catch up in school, whatever it may be.
Right.
The summer, the same thing. If they need it, we'll support that if and when we can. And then they know that we have everything here if they want it. A lot of our boys, Bake, have access. You and David were talking about handlers. A lot of our boys are in that world.
Right.
And there's skates and there's training and there's all that kind of stuff that goes on and they can take care of that themselves. And for me, you've heard me say this before, but if we need to hold their hand in the summer, I'm not sure if there's a kid that we want in the program anyway.
Right.
But they know that we're here if they need us. Typically, they've got plenty at home to take care of what they need to off the ice.
Very, very good. And by the way, thank the NCHC or whatever. No J-term home series.
Zero.
The January series is when the students come back.
And it's the end one.
Yeah.
And that was pretty good this year. That'll hopefully be our in-season alumni weekend.
Let's make that a normal one there.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. No, I'll take that.
Coach, thank you so much. We appreciate you taking time to come out and join us. Have a great summer.
Thanks a lot. You too.
Chris Bergeron joining us here on Hawk Talk. This segment brought to you by Crown Charter. We're going to wrap things up. Talk football with Chuck Martin when we come back live at La Rosa's. This is Hawk Talk on the Miami Sports Network, presented by Kimba Credit Union. Indian Ridge Golf Club, located just south of Miami University on Route 27, offers a championship layout experience with its meticulous fairways and greens and strategically placed bunkers and water hazards. Beginners to experienced players will want to call Indian Ridge Golf Club their home course.
Be sure to visit us at IndianRidgeGolfClub.com to book your tee times, purchase a membership or gift certificate, or join our birthday club. Terry B's Tavern on Main Street in Hamilton is your place to be for live entertainment and fun every night. From karaoke to great food, Terry B's has it all. With a full kitchen, you can come for dinner and stay to watch the Redhawks play, or hang out on the covered outdoor patio. Terry B's, your place for live entertainment.
And welcome back. We are here live at La Rosa's, and over the next few moments here, talking with the head coach of the Miami Redhawks, Chuck Martin. This segment is brought to you by the fine folks at G&J Pepsi-Cola Bottling of Hamilton.
So I got this nice, before you get talking about anything.
Yeah, I was going to say,
I
what
got this
a nice
Frisco
sweatshirt.
So my wife, Bake, you'll agree with me, just agree with me. That's why I appreciate it.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I've been telling her it's been orange ever since, like, she wanted to buy it. I'm like, it's an orange sweatshirt. Why, it's not red.
No.
She's like, no, it's red, but now I'm sitting next to you, and you have red on, right? So am I messed up that this is not...
Heather?
Way to go political and jump right down. No, we yes.
I agree. It's
so
red.
It's orange. It's red.
Yeah, it's just a different shade of red, Coach.
I was counting on you to agree with me, Banks.
Well,
I would have never brought it up if I thought there's a 1% chance you wouldn't agree with me.
1% chance I wouldn't agree with you. Come on,
but you didn't agree with me, so it's garbage. So must not be football season.
Well, of course it is. It's spring football season. How you doing?
We're doing great.
Yeah. Spring football.
Unfortunately, we only got 4 left. I'll be really depressed next Saturday. But right now it's great because we're practicing and we're lifting and we're meeting and we're going to class, and it's awesome right now.
Yeah, very good.
We need about 15 more practices after this is what we need.
Well, you got extra practices in December, right? Or
yeah,
November?
We got some extra practices in December, yeah.
So.
But that's just so they realized how bad they were, and now we're trying to get them better. We need more of getting better. Realizing how bad they are was easy. That was an easy one. We just taped them and we made them watch themselves on tape, and then they realized how. So, but no, it's going really, to be honest, the off season has been fantastic. Starting with January, starting with we have a really young team for the first time in a long time.
Right.
Not as young on offense, but we're not super old on offense. But we have 9 starters coming back, but we still have some young guys that are we played some young starters, so they're still in their growth period. Defensively, we lost 8 really good players. We got kind of 6 returning starters. No one can figure out the math, thinking we were playing 14 guys, but 4 of those guys were DNs, so you can only count 2 DNs as starters. But really had a great offseason, strength and conditioning. A lot of our young guys made huge gains in the weight room, and again, like literally tangible gains, like went from 166 to 178 in 7 weeks.
Wow.
Which again, and not just we think they make gains, no, and they're bigger, stronger, and they're moving better. And then Coach Carroll made a great point. We're moving better for longer. Like usually you got those young guys, you get to period 11 and it really starts to dip because they're young and their bodies aren't as mature, where we're really still playing hard late in the practice.
Mm-hmm.
Now, execution, completely different story at times.
Right.
That's where our youth shows up a ton. But we've had a good spring practice. We've had a ton of really competitive days. Some days one side was better than the other. Some days they both were pretty good. Some days both are pretty awful. But as we always say, that like a bad day is a great day in spring because you get to go watch the tape the next day and you get to go learn from it. And good players learn and don't make those same mistakes. So there's no bad days right now. But we're practicing very competitively, and we got a bunch of new coaches and bunch of I used to think I was an okay guy to work for, and then we always had these articles.
I was going to say, no rollover.
No one ever left me, and then all of a sudden, like literally, it was like every 48 hours somebody was leaving. Like every time I wouldn't pick up my phone, it was like at the end when recruits are making commitments and you don't think it's yours, you don't want to pick it up because you're pretty sure they're going to thank you and
say
that was like, I'm going to pick up my phone every time I pick up the phone. Like guys walk down, coach, you got a minute? I'm like, okay, where are you going? I'm going to Auburn. Okay, great. That's my off the field recruiting guy. I was kind of joking, like, hey, where are you going? He's like, oh, I'm actually going to Auburn. I'm like, oh, I was just joking. You for real going to Auburn? I'm like, hey, good for you. You're going to Auburn. You're probably going to get paid 3 times as much and do about a third of the work.
Exactly.
Let me know if they got any openings when you get there.
Oh man, let's. I talked to you a couple of weeks ago, and you said you're going to be young. I asked you, who's really impressing. You named off like 10 guys, 11, 12 guys that are, played maybe a little bit last year or didn't play at all last year that have been impressive. So I know you're really excited about the young guys on the team.
Yeah, and again, we got a really good nucleus back on offense. We lose Jack, who obviously that's a huge, if you have a halfway decent team, you're going to lose some good players.
Right.
You lose Jack, and he was obviously a great player for a long time and had a fantastic senior year. And then we lose one of our offensive linemen, David Redding, who had a really nice senior year for us. But all the other 9 starters are back. We think we're getting Tyree back healthy. He looks really good right now. I know he played some last year, but he didn't look like the old Tyree. He's starting to look. We think we're going to get Jalen Bester back. He's a little still further away from being 100%, but so you're hoping you're adding those 2 guys in the mix. And our offense really kept getting better and better and better as the year goes around, as the year went on. So we feel good that there's a lot of good pieces there, and there's enough experience that we should be functioning at a pretty high level. Defensively, again, you still got Ryan McWood, who missed all last year, coming back, which, again, you're talking about a 7th-year starter.
You're talking about a kid that just loves the game so much. So.
And he's a good player, and he's a really good Mike backer, but he also adds so much to the rest of the defense. He's kind of the quarterback out there. And so when he went out, you lose a good player, but you also lose a lot of verbal directions and calling out plays. And, so getting him back, Salopek's back. At the end of the year, Quez and John Saunders were starters. Obviously, John didn't play a ton, but when he played really good. Yeah. And he got back for the bowl game and had a really good bowl game. Obviously, from the time Quez went into the game at Central Michigan, it was like the Wally Pipp story.
Yeah.
He played good enough in 18 minutes against Central with the game on the line. He never came out. It was never. It was like, okay, we found a good one there. He doesn't even really know.
We'll keep him in.
He doesn't even really know what he's doing, and he played really well. Imagine if he knew what he was doing, So, and he's just going to get better and better because he really likes the game, and he's so young and inexperienced. And then obviously our inside guys with Kobe Hilton and Austin Earl is one of our leaders of our whole football team, and then Anthony Collier's getting back to 100%. You got 3 inside guys that have played a bunch. So you've got some guys that have played a lot of football here and know what they're doing. Then, none of our DNs have taken any snaps here, and the rest of our secondary, we got a lot of guys running our secondary that no one's ever heard of, but they're young and they're athletic and they seem to like football and they're flying around and they're doing some really good things. So we're excited. We got the biggest concern is just some guys are getting anointed spots because of the turnover, as opposed to some kind earning a spot. And sometimes it's hard for them to understand how much. If I'm running with the ones, I must be good.
Right.
Well, you can be good.
You can be good.
So those guys just understand that they've got a long ways to go, even though they're in that 1s and 2 rotation, which is awesome. And but the consistency is they're starting to figure out, spring 11 today, there's been some dips. And I said, this seems a long time, these 15 spring practices. We do it in 5 weeks. Mm-hmm. Our season is 16 weeks.
Right.
And if you're having these dips that's why you have those bad games during the year. And that's why it's hard to be consistent through the year, because human nature is to have those dips. So we're trying to treat it like, hey, we should be getting better, but some of you guys are kind of hitting the wall here later in the spring. So, but overall, it's been a really good since January. It's been really good, and need to be really good because we got a lot of young guys that we have to develop and have to get ready to play.
Well, the fans can get a chance to check out some of those young guys on Saturday, the 23rd, at 1 o'clock in the Dowk Indoor Sports Center. It will be indoors at the Disc, the Spring Showcase, and the Kid Zone will be inside. DJ Steve will be there playing some music. I'll be out there, and we, of course, want you to come out there as well. It's a great opportunity for the fans to come out and see the team going through some of their paces out there in the spring.
Yeah, and we're Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday in spring. They're welcome every practice. We'd love to have them. We love, if you show up, we just tell, who is that 80-year-old lady? Well, she's an NFL scout for the Giants. So whoever comes that my guys don't recognize, we tell them they're NFL scouts, and then they just practice harder. It's amazing when the NFL scouts are how hard. Even some freshman walk-on 9th-team kicker is doing push-ups, in the corner trying to impress the Giants scouts. So no matter who comes, and again, if you have an NFL favorite team, wear
their jersey,
wear that sweatshirt, and then it'll be a lock. I know she doesn't look. I know Granny over there doesn't necessarily look like it, but I'm telling you, she's one of the best there is. She's been doing this thing forever. She signed Lawrence Taylor back in the day.
There you go, back in the day. Oh, my gosh. UC playing at Paul Brown, and obviously always a great game coming off the season the Bearcats had, obviously, a little more emphasis, but a chance to play at an NFL stadium, chance to play a great opponent, and a great rivalry coming up in the fall.
Yeah, no, again, life's all about great opportunities, and like you said, that's a great opportunity. Just playing UC alone is a great opportunity any year. But then coming off, they arguably had the best year in school history, so obviously that's more excitement to get a chance to play them and see where you stack up, and particularly early in the year, and particularly there'll be some new starters playing, and like, okay, this is high end Division I football, and where do you stack up against those guys? And I know they lose some really good players, like any team that makes the Final Four, but they've got some really good players coming back. So then you add Paul Brown and you add the venue, and it's really cool. We've done it twice. The first time it was crazy cool to go there and play, particularly for the kids.
Right.
To play at an NFL venue, it's different, but it's cool for us coaches and us fans too. Like, second time it wasn't as cool because it was the worst rainstorm.
It was a monsoon.
It could have been just as cool, but it was less cool because it was I don't know, like it was like the movie Noah's Ark or something when the rain came. And so it wasn't. It was even a fairly competitive game that night, but everybody was so waterlogged. You're just trying to survive.
Dry.
Hopefully. It's more like the first time. It was a beautiful night the first time we played there, and again, it's different when you get a chance to play at professional stadiums, and we did that once a year at Notre Dame, and it was, even there where you played at some of the best venues in college football, like, it was still cool to go to Soldiers Field or so. Getting a chance to play at Paul Brown and where the Bengals play, and then coming off what the Bengals did, it'll even be cooler because now people think the Bengals are cool.
Yeah,
this is where Joe Burrow plays, and this is where the team that almost won the. So that is an unbelievable opportunity. Again, you grow up dreaming in your backyard of doing certain things, and most of the things that us normal people dreamt of never came about, at least in my life.
Yeah.
But you dreamt, there's a lot of Ohio kids on our team, and you've got a bunch of Cincinnati kids that dreamt of playing Paul Brown. Hopefully some of them will play for the Bengals someday or play in that stadium as a professional, football player like we have. Obviously Roethlisberger played there once a year for about 4 decades. But for our kids that won't ever, this will be a once-in-a-lifetime experience for them.
Yep, Forrest Gump moment, no doubt about it. The schedule is there. Season tickets are available, and you can go to the Miami Athletic Ticket Office. While you're there, you can also purchase Paul Brown tickets for the UC game. They are available right now. Single game ticket for Paul Brown. Now, if you buy season tickets, that's not part of the package, so you have to buy a Paul Brown ticket, the UC ticket separately. Make sure that you do that. And Coach, week to go, and then the spring showcase, then a little bit of break. I know you said you'll be depressed after that, but I think Dulcie will probably keep you busy, and
she likes me home for about 4 days. She's so excited when July hits,
and you're back at it, right?
We get time off in July, and then about July, maybe a little. I'd say about July 8th, she's like, "When does fall camp start?" The first 2 or 3 days, like, so we're gonna do this. We're gonna hang out as a family. I was like, when does camp start again? When you get your out of here? So, thank God I found her, and the older I get, the more I realize, like, I'm not sure why she's still with me, but I'm very grateful that she is.
Coach, thank you so much, man.
Appreciate it.
Chuck Martin joining us here on this HawkTalk. This segment brought to you by Pepsi and the G&J Pepsi-Cola Bottling Company. Our thanks to Joel and Melissa and the entire staff here at La Rosa's all season long, and particularly tonight for their help in hosting our HawkTalk shows throughout the year. We will be back here again in the fall and bringing you more HawkTalk on Wednesday nights during football season, Thursday nights during basketball and hockey seasons. We will be here and have the show for you live at La Rosa's, brought to you by Ohio's 529 plan. Check them out at collegeadvantage.com/Redhawks. Thanks to Lindsay Sparks for her help in tonight's show, all of our guests as well, and thank you for tuning in here on Facebook Live. That'll do it for HawkTalk for this season. Talk to you next season. Love and honor, everyone.
This has been HawkTalk, brought to you on the Van Wagner Miami Sports Network by Ohio's 529 plan. Ohio's 529 plan is proud to partner with Miami Athletics and happy to be the new sponsor of Swoops Kids Club. To learn more about Ohio's 529 plan and for your chance to win a $529 college savings award, visit collegeadvantage.com/Redhawks. HawkTalk live from La Rosa's on Facebook Live has been a presentation of the Van Wagner Miami Sports Network.